Good morning, everybody. Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah to those who are about to celebrate. It is Wednesday, December 24th, and we are live with episode number 17 of the Mindless Meanderings.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Oh, yeah, it is Tuesday. Look at that. What do you know? Reading a script. It's what you get. I'm Jesse Freeze, coming to you from Central Texas, where I'm drinking some coffee with some Irish cream in it and enjoying waking up late because the kids don't have to go to school.
And I'm Jamin Freeze, coming at you from Eastern Kansas, where I just found out that as of June of this year, voting is not a fundamental right, according to the Kansas Supreme Court.
Actually, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I could see that in ways. Yeah.
Anyways,
what's the reasoning?
That's what the AP would have you believe is what they found.
Got it.
That was the headline. What actually happened was there was a court case that went in front of the Supreme Court saying that here in Kansas, if you're going to do a mail-in ballot,
right,
when you send in the application for the mail-in ballot, they have to match your signature to your voter registration signature.
Right.
And so they were trying to repeal having to match the signature.
I see.
The lawsuit was trying to get away with matching the signature. But I guess making it so that you have to match the signatures means that voting is not a fundamental right.
Yeah, that's generally what the Democrats think when it comes to that. It's
Yep.
They like to equate one or the other, but really the signature, without you being there, without your ID being there, without a notary, the only thing they can see if it is actually you is your signature. It's the only thing they can actually go look at. It's the same signature. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
So yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
That is hilarious. Well, speaking of holidays, I just saw this news article. Apparently, American Airlines had to delay every flight. It called the FAA and said, we need to ground all flights for American Airlines because of, looks like some sort of, they had a vendor technical issue. So they were grounded for an hour this morning.
Oh, no.
On one of the busiest days of the year.
Yeah, not only is that going to delay people getting to where they're going, but that means that there's going to be a lot of missed flights when you're trying to switch over to a new plane. I mean, that's God, that sucks.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
It means there's going to be a lot of people that are not going to make it to where they're going by Christmas.
Yeah,
potentially with that.
Yeah, there's probably quite a few. There are quite a few there.
Oh, wow. That's insane.
It is.
What did they say whether the vendor issue was causing safety on the plane, or was
all they said is that safety is number one concern. So no clue on that one. They always say that. So,
okay.
Yeah. No clue. But speaking of planes and everything like that, last episode I said people might start shooting at these drones and whatnot, right? And it might not be a drone.
Yeah.
The FBI actually said it like just that same day. It was like seriously like the next day or the same day, last Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. The FBI came out and said, let's see here. They want to warn the public about the increase in pilots of manned aircraft being hit in the eyes with lasers because people on the ground think they see an unmanned aircraft system. There's also concern with people possibly firing weapons at what they believe to be a UAS, but could be a manned aircraft. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that reminds me of something that I saw not too long ago where I guess someone in Congress, that there had been some people in Congress that had a little bit of a hearing about the drones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one group of people that reported drones in the air that were just flying all flying the same pattern, one after another, going to the same place.
Right.
It turns out that those were airplanes on approach to JFK.
Ah, Jesus. That is hilarious. That is
Yep.
you can't make this shit up. It's
No, you really can't.
I knew it was going to happen. These New Jersey people, I don't know what it was. They just started freaking out, and apparently some New Yorkers too. It just makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
And the problem is that when you're looking up into the sky and you see those lights, you have no reference to how far away they actually are.
Yep.
So I mean, if it's a jetliner on approach to an airport, it's going to be low enough that that it's not going to look like just this little red and green light blinking up in the sky, which is what you would normally associate with a jetliner.
Right.
But it's going to be a small vehicle, and so people. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's probably at least 50% of the drone sightings.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, a lot of it was just airplanes and everything like that, and of course some of it's drones. There's always drones, but it's Yeah,
the congressman that was talking, he said that they found that a lot of it was small manned aircraft. There was a lot of it, even some helicopters were reported as drones. And I'm sitting there I've been around enough helicopters. They don't sound anything like any drone I've ever seen up in the air.
No, they do not. Yeah. Drones. Of course, depending on the size of them, but if they're smaller, it's usually a high whine pitch. It's it's not the thump 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 that those big birds have. It's
you've got to have really large propellers to make that kind of noise.
You really do. And a little drone won't do it. And I wouldn't even say a medium drone. Because usually the drones have at least 4 props. It's not like just the one big prop that helicopters have.
Yeah, I saw a picture of one that's being used for deliveries right now. It has like 12 along the top for vertical, and then 4 on the front for forward and back for forward movement.
Right, but they wouldn't be like huge, so you'd still have
they're small. Yeah,
so you'd have more of a
12 of them on top.
So you'd have more of a high whine pitch and everything like that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's like we complain, all these New Jerseyans or whatnot are complaining about it, but at least they're not in like Russia, where Ukraine is bombing their high-rise buildings and everything like that, even like 1,000 kilometers from the front line. It's like see, that's a drone problem.
That is definitely a drone problem. The drones that we deal with, it's nothing compared to what they have to deal with in other parts of the world.
Well, when you're at war,
where they're actually attaching bombs onto the drones.
Yeah. If you're at war, I understand, but otherwise, just leave off. It just makes no sense to me. Absolutely no sense to me.
Especially since a lot of the increased sightings are because it's only been a few years now since the FAA has authorized civilian use drones and commercial use drones to fly during the night.
Yep.
So I mean, the first few years of it, there probably weren't that many that went up at night, but it's now been about 3 years since they changed that ruling, and now all the commercial companies and stuff like that have been able to make up for it. And, I've seen things about how, like, down in Texas, DoorDash is starting to use drones around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I've seen there's so many companies that don't deliver large things are starting to go towards drones.
Right. Huh, that's interesting.
So, I mean, yeah.
It might get your food faster,
see a lot
for God's
more of them
sakes.
up in the air.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I mean, can you imagine not having to wait on them driving through traffic?
Yeah. Or they pick up like three orders and you're like the last one,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I swear that's
Speaking
what it
of
is
that,
sometimes. Uh-huh.
uh, uh, the nephew came over a couple of days ago
Uh-huh.
and ordered DoorDash. The driver has two stops. He when he gets up to the house here, he keeps driving and sends me a message saying that Burger King said that somebody had already picked up my food
What?
and just took off. Then he said that he put in that he completed the order.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So
Wow.
I go in and I do the, help and file that my food didn't get here.
Uh-huh.
And the next guy is already sitting at Burger King, and his first stop is at the same exact location as my first stop was.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
this guy did it at both orders. He's gonna get paid for making the delivery, and he kept the food.
Wow. That is messed up, yo.
Yeah.
That is really messed up.
I mean, if you enjoy gaming systems, that's a good way to game the system.
Yeah, but it won't last long. They'll figure it
Oh
out
no,
quick enough,
no!
and then
As
you're
soon as it
screwed.
happens a few times, it'll be done. But
Yeah. I don't understand people like that. It just doesn't make
no,
sense.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I don't understand Biden's White House just covering for him for so freaking long. Like from the
Oh,
very
I
get
know.
go. That's the craziest thing. That Wall Street Journal article. It was crazy
Yep.
what was going on there. It was like from the very beginning there were like limits on who Biden spoke to. Limits
Yeah.
on what they said and limits around the sources of information he consumed. So basically they were telling
Yep.
Biden, well, now they always like tell the president what they want the president to hear, but it seems
Well,
like
yeah.
there are more limits on it. Like they were hiding bad news from him and things like that. It seems like they were hiding a lot more from him than what they do for normal presidents.
That wouldn't really surprise me, though. I mean,
No, not at all.
he's shown signs of mental decline since like the year I started noticing it the year after he was elected.
Yeah, that's when things really started to get shown. But apparently, from this article, it was like day one he was having
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
It did get worse as the years went by,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, and it was like it was somebody in the article said he has good days and bad days, and today was a bad day. Like talking
Mhm.
about this one thing, it's just
Yep.
it's really crazy. It's
It really is. Yeah.
and then it was like in the article it also talks about how like some representatives. Like one of them was Jim Hines. He's like a high-powered Democrat now, but at the very beginning he wasn't. He was more of a lowly
Mhm.
member. And he said,
Okay.
I really had no personal contact with president. I had more personal contact with Obama, okay, so under Obama, he was just a lowly Democrat. Under Biden, he was like the chairman of one of the committees or something like that, or the House Democrat ranking member or something like that.
Yeah.
And he said that he had more personal contact with Obama as an underling than Biden as the man in charge.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's pure craziness.
It really is. It really is.
There was like interactions between
Yeah.
Biden and many of his cabinet members were infrequent, lightly scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like actual cabinet meetings, like where the whole cabinet got together. In 4 years, Biden had 9 of those. But Obama held 19 and Trump had 25 just in their first 4 years.
Yeah.
So Biden, he's not even coming to half of Obama.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah.
this just makes me wonder, like, who was actually in charge during this whole time? Does he even know what's going on? Does he actually have the mental capacity to actually do anything. Like, does he have the mental capacity to pardon, like, all these murderers that he commuted the sentence for?
Yep.
Like child rapists and murderers and things like that. He just committed or got him off death row, just put him in life without prison.
Yeah, he commuted their death row sentence.
Yeah.
And there's so much about that just, I find it very interesting, the reason that he said he had to commute those sentences.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
His reason doesn't really line up because he only commuted 37 out of the 40.
Right. What was the reason?
There's 3 people that are still going to die. The reason was because I can't even conceive about allowing Trump to come in and change my policy of not killing these death row inmates.
Are you freaking kidding me, dude? That's really what. But
yeah.
It's funny, though. He's letting off these child murderers and rapists and crap like this. But he won't commute the sentence of the Boston Marathon bombing. Don't get me wrong. That's a terrorist attack and everything like that. But let's see, just bombing for your own terrorist beliefs. That's one thing. Okay. Raping and killing a child. I'm sorry. I know which one I want killed.
Not only that, but they're one of those 37 was a guy that was very high up in his gang that firebombed one of his rival gang's houses, killing 6, including 3 children, one of which was only like 13 months old.
Yep. Yeah, no.
I mean, those are the people we need to get rid of.
Yes. It's yeah, no. Yeah.
And the biggest problem about this is since they're no longer in death row, now you know how the system works. If the prisons become overcrowded again or something like that, there's always a possibility that these guys might get out early.
There is no early. They're in there for forever, from what I understand. Generally, that's what it is. It's like it's either death row or. A lot of times in these cases, it's like there's no possibility. It's life without the possibility of parole. That's what a lot of these major assholes get. This is what, if a state doesn't have death penalty, that's what they get instead of the death penalty. They get life without the possibility of parole. So, and they are in there for life. It's not the 20-year term. It is just life, plain and simple.
Okay.
Because you don't want them ever out. It's
Yeah, well, that's one concern that I saw a lot on X that people had was that, with the way the court systems are nowadays, you never know how long these people are actually going to end up staying in jail since they're not going to be dead.
That is true. But generally, that is how it works. It's just life without the possibility of parole, and they actually mean life, not like. What California is like 20 years or something like that is considered life, or some states it's that way. So
there was one guy that was talking about this, and I really kind of like his opinion on the reasoning behind. He was talking about the reasoning for the commutations of the death sentence, and he's like, this just fundamentally changes what the paroles, what the presidential pardons and commutations mean.
Yep.
It's no longer about, up until now, it's always been, you look at each case individually and you say this didn't really serve justice, so we're going to give them a pardon.
Yep.
Now it's, well, the next guy coming in might do something different than what I want to have done, so I got to make sure that he can't do it.
Yeah, no, which isn't to me, that's not the purpose of this at all. No,
it's not at all. No,
because that's a political thing. That is not because usually if you commute a person's death sentence, you look at the facts of the case itself and you go, okay, was this guy kind of cheated in trial, but technically he was fine, but he was kind of cheated, that sort of thing. It's like, or has he completely turned around his life and everything like that while on death row and everything like that.
Yeah.
after being like on death row for like 20, 30 years, you know, that sort of thing. It's
absolutely.
not just because you don't like the death sentence. It's federal law.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
no.
It's federal law.
Yeah.
That's not there's nothing beyond that. It's federal law. Suck up. If you don't like it.
If you don't like it, get Congress to change it.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, the liberals have been in charge of Congress and the House for so many different times.
Right.
Why didn't they change it if they don't like it?
Well, it'd have to pass the Senate too, and getting anything through the Senate and the getting the 66 votes to stop a filibuster is kind of a pain in the ass, you know, or 60 votes, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, regarding this, I did see a very interesting Babylon Bee article.
Uh-huh.
The headline was, shit, forgot the word.
That's
babies
funny,
that are going, babies that may be aborted are now identifying as death row inmates to get their sentence commuted.
That's kind of funny.
And the picture was a fetus with the gang tattoos and the bandana on.
Right.
Oh, it was hilarious.
That is that really is funny. Let's see here. What else we got here? Oh, Herschel Walker. He's being tapped to be U.S. ambassador
for the Bahamas. Now? Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I think every Minnesotan Viking fan is rolling in his grave right now.
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Yeah. It has to do with him being like an ambassador for the youth and stuff like that for a while now.
No, I don't doubt it.
He's a great ambassador, so let's make him the U.S. ambassador for the Bahamas.
Well, you know, personally, I don't have a problem with them or anything like that.
Me either.
As a Minnesota Viking fan, you just think back to that trade that doomed the Vikings and made the Cowboys the instant hit that they were back in the 90s. Yep. Without that trade, the Cowboys would have been shit throughout the 90s. But
they would have been shit, and the Vikings could have been good.
Yeah, I can't even remember how many first round draft picks we gave Cowboys on that one. That was crazy.
Oh, it was like 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so I don't remember exactly, but it was a decent number of them.
Yeah.
It wasn't just one.
Yeah, I'm sure Walker is a fine guy and everything like that. But I still, being down here in Texas now, I still bring it up with Texas people, and they're going, "What are you talking about?" I'm going, "You don't know, do you?" You know, it's like only Minnesota Vikings, like old ones like us, you know, actually remember that trade. He was supposed to be the hottest shit ever and everything like that, and he comes in, wah wah.
Oh yeah, he was not good.
He wasn't at all. Not for the Vikings. And then he went to another team, and then he was good again. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he just didn't like playing for the Vikings or something. Maybe it was too cold in Minnesota for him.
Maybe so.
Texas, so
shrinkage, you know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. It is good stuff. Let's go with some quasi-international, domestic sort of stuff. Looks like the U.S. is weighing a ban on Chinese-made router company TP-Link. You know TP-Link, right?
Okay. Yeah, I've heard the name before. I've never purchased any of their product.
Yeah, they're the biggest actual router company here in the United States. Their market share is about 60-70%.
Nice.
Yeah, and but it's been known to kind of have some issues with security and everything like that. A lot of times the routers are often shipped with security issues. And even when there's security issues, TP-Link won't actually fix the security issue with the software update. So
It
there's
seems to
just
be a little problematic.
yeah, and when there's a lot of hacking going on, a lot of times it's targeted at the TP link because they know of those issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so because of that, it's the U.S. is thinking of banning TP Link. It's a Chinese company, so
Yeah, so they must think that it's intentionally done so that Chinese hackers can access basically any information here in the US then?
yeah, basically it's kind of like the whole TikTok thing, the bite dance
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's but this one, it's like hacking is one thing to me. Like taking my data that I give you, I don't have an issue with that. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like when it comes to TikTok, I know that ban is about to come in like on the 19th of January,
Yep.
but it's like I'm giving you this data, so I don't mind that.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
hacking situation, that's a whole different issue. It's
Well, especially since it's involving the router, which is an
yep.
integral part of basically everyone's home network.
Well, yeah, it is everybody's home network except for like that one person that just plugs in the modem straight into the computer. That one person, it's
Wait, I'm that one person.
you see, there you go.
I've only got two computers hooked up to the network, and they're both right next to each other. My modem has two Ethernet ports on it. So
Okay,
why
okay,
not?
you should check the brand of that modem. Maybe it's TP Link.
It might be. It came from T-Mobile, so who knows?
Then to get like 60-70% of the market share, they would have to have deals with like
With
some of the big boys like Comcast and Spectrum and whatnot. They would have to have those deals. I do my own.
Yeah.
I buy my own stuff because I don't want that surcharge they always put on there every month.
Yeah.
I hate that, like that $5 or $10 a month to rent a modem or whatever from them.
I normally would do that too. If I had cable internet, I would be doing that because they do charge that surcharge.
Right.
With T-Mobile, there's no surcharge for the modem. It's just a straight up $50 for the service.
So, yeah. You're still on T-Mobile? I thought you were switching.
Yeah. I was going to, but I haven't really noticed any problems, so I haven't with it. So
that is true.
I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, the connection is getting pretty good. So
yeah. Lately here, I've been averaging around 100 megabyte down instead of the 5 to 10 megabyte down that I saw early on. So
well, that's better. Yeah, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, 5 to 10, you can't really do anything with nowadays.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, we're old. When you complain about 5 to 10 megabytes. Yeah. When I was a kid, I dealt with 12 baud modem.
I think the slowest I ever dealt with was about maybe 10 kilobyte.
Yeah, it was
back with dial-up. I mean, it was insanely small, insanely low.
Yeah, those porn pictures would take forever to load one line.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes. It was horrendous. But, at that point in time, we were just thinking, well, at least I can see something.
It was better than nothing.
At least I can do something online rather than having to
go to a store and buy it.
Go to a store and buy it, or go outside and play.
Yeah. Well,
I was able to dedicate my life to being in front of a computer eventually.
Well, speaking of the whole topic of international and whatnot, apparently Texas, our governor and our government has put up billboards in Mexico and Central America, basically letting people know that if they come up to the United States, they are going to regret it. These are pretty, like, the wording is pretty graphic. It's like one billboard warns that wives and daughters will pay for their trip with their bodies. You can't trust the coyotes. because they will rape
Okay.
and whatnot you.
Oh
And
yeah.
then another one. The direct translation is, "How much did you pay to have your daughter raped?"
Wow.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
it's absolutely true, but
Uh huh.
wow.
Another one was, "Many girls
Yeah.
are raped by the coyotes you hire."
Hmm.
And then another one, "Danger ahead. If you cross into Texas illegally, you will regret it forever." Yeah, yeah. It's yeah. They're trying to put the word out. Don't come to Texas. I think Texas is going.
Hmm.
You want to come up? Go to California. Yeah, or New
Yeah.
Mexico or something. You know,
New
just don't come
Mexico,
here.
Arizona, California, just don't come to
Yeah,
Texas.
just don't come to Texas. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Going through those
Uh,
checkpoints about like 100 miles from the border are interesting. There's like uh, uh, ICE or whatever, a border patrol.
yeah.
That about like 100 miles out from the border, they actually have checks on the highways
Yep. Yep.
to see if anybody's illegal and everything like that. They go, "What's your citizenship?"
Yeah, I never had to worry about those checkpoints when I was driving through Texas, but then again, I
Hmm.
was in a rig, so you know, the
Well,
I was
you
in a
that was a while ago because with a rig they might be checking the
well,
back of your
they
thing
were
and
still
everything.
there though. They were still there though.
Okay, okay.
I mean, yeah, they were always on the
Oh
northbound
yeah,
side of the road. You never
yeah.
on the southbound.
Oh,
Yeah,
if
they
you're
were.
going back to Mexico, we don't care. you know.
Yeah. Well, that's something that's actually very interesting. I was watching a video about our northern border.
Uh-huh.
This guy he did a lot of interviewing on the southern border, but then he's like, nobody ever talks about the northern border. So he went up to upstate New York and was talking to some county sheriffs up there, and it was so funny. The Canada has always had always had a law that it was illegal to go from Canada into the U.S. illegally.
Uh-huh.
And so they could stop anyone that they saw trying to come into the U.S.
Oh, okay.
But they got pissed off at our sheriffs because there is no reciprocal law. There is no law saying that you can't go from the U.S. into Canada illegally. So our sheriffs would be sitting there waiting to see if anybody was going to cross the border coming south, and people crossing the border going north they just walk right past them.
Huh.
And that was
Interesting.
pissing a lot of the Canadian police officers and stuff off. And they were talking about, we were like, well, he was like, well, why would people want to leave the U.S. to go up into Canada illegally? And he's like, well, because you can come down here, you can buy a gun for $600, go up there and sell it for 6,000.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many things that you can buy down here cheaply that you can sell up there for a good profit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But not only that, they also have a more friendly immigrant situation than
Yep.
we do and everything like that. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
because they
Yeah.
just want everybody and anybody up there right now.
Yep.
Not sure how that's going to go after Trudeau is kicked out. But it's
Yeah. Yeah. That hopefully that'll change some stuff up there. I haven't seen any good news come out of Canada in a long time.
uh yeah. After COVID just kind of screwed everything up. It really made
Yeah.
Canada so authoritarian. It really did.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It did.
It's
Yeah.
the stories that come out because before then, I haven't been to Canada since COVID, but before
Hmm.
then, it was just easy going. Everybody was just
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Canadian nice, as everybody knows, and it was
Yep.
just
Yep.
yeah. But now it's like I guess the only people up in Canada that have always had an issue were the Quebecois, the Quebec people. The French
Yeah.
speakers,
Yep.
apparently English speakers are leaving Quebec because they're sick and tired of being the minority and just being they're treated horribly up there.
Oh yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
get promotions. They don't get this.
Yep.
The French just are like going.
Well, and
Go.
that's been going on for a very, very long time now. I mean,
Oh, it has. It has.
when I was driving over the road, I went up to Quebec a couple of times. And first of all, the biggest problem that I had was I couldn't read any single frickin' sign on any building or anything like that because they're all in French.
Right.
But as I was delivering loads up there, I'd be talking to people that were working the docks, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't speak French, which means that I can't get promoted in this job at all. I will be a dock worker for the rest of my life."
Yep. Yep.
And I'm like, "That's just so messed up."
It is. It is.
I
It is
mean, when
crazy.
your national language is English,
Well, it's English and French,
when
but yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean, the entire country swears fealty to the crown of England. Anyways, they did for a very long time. I don't know if they've stopped doing that.
No, they still do technically, but that's just to the crown, not to the parliament.
Right,
And the crown doesn't
right,
care what language you speak.
right.
And Canada technically is an independent country, and they just have two national languages, is what they have.
Yeah,
Because if
yeah.
they didn't do that, the Quebecois would probably just say, "Okay, we're out of Canada. We're out. We're gonna be our own thing." More than
Would
likely, that's what they would
I,
do.
I hate saying this, but would that really be a problem for Canada?
Well, there's Montreal. It's a big city and everything like that. You know,
Yeah,
but
but I
yeah,
mean,
it wouldn't be.
it wouldn't separate off into its own entity. I mean, those people would
No.
just leave Canada, and then new English speakers would move in, and hey,
No,
problem
no,
solved.
no, no. Where would they go? No. See, the problem is that the Quebecois, they speak Old French.
Okay.
They're made fun of by the French. The French make fun of them for speaking this old ass language. Yeah,
That I did not know.
yeah. My wife's cousin, her husband is French. He's from Brittany,
Okay.
and yeah, he goes, yeah, it's old French. It is a very old French. They really don't know how to speak French. It's just what it is. So, yeah, no, it's, but you know, it's just like how like Mexico speaks a different Spanish than
Yeah.
Spain and
Yeah.
everything like that. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the C's are pronounced differently and things like that. You know, it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But
It's like the Cajuns here in the U.S. You know, you,
oh,
very few people can understand what the Cajuns are saying.
Well, that's different, dude. That is different. That's a Creole language. That French is
Yeah.
a Creole language. That's not
You know.
with that hard, heavy
Oh
accent that
yeah.
they have.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
doggy. Yeah, yeah.
Even
Yeah, there's a
when
bit of
they're
French
talking
there.
English, you can't understand them.
No, that accent is something. It's quite entertaining. I like
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Oh, it is absolutely. Yeah. I love listening to people talking with that accent. I always loved going through Louisiana.
Yeah, yeah. It's like my wife. She never could understand Southern accents. I think she can now because, well, we live in Texas now, but
Okay, yeah.
she could not understand them. One time we were driving through, I think it was through Kentucky. And Kentucky isn't even that far south.
Oh no, it's not.
And we were driving through Kentucky and we stopped at a Wendy's to get a meal. And the guy just asked, "Okay, what do you want?" You know, just to me, perfectly fine
Yeah.
English. And
Yeah.
Daryl just looked at him like, going, "Huh?" I had to translate. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. Uh,
Let's see here. What else we got?
the
Yeah.
You want to get into some more politics?
I'm kind of politicked out.
Yeah, I kind of was too.
Let's see here.
Oh, did you hear that? you hear about Trump's lawsuit and how he won the $15 million from what's his
it was
name?
settled. Stephanopoulos or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Thinking about it, it's kind of funny and might be a new way to make some to earn money.
Yeah, but everybody's pissed.
Well, yeah, but you get sued in a civil lawsuit for something minor. The media says it exaggerates it massively.
Oh yeah,
and then you sue the media. So he paid $5 million. He was forced to pay $5 million to the lady. He got $15 million. He's up $10 million.
That does work. Just pay her. Just directly go there.
Yeah.
But actually, that's going towards his library. That $15 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then $1 million for lawyer fees.
Yep.
So the lawyers are making up pretty good on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No. That's. Yeah. No. Stephanopoulos really pushed it on that one. I know he says he didn't because the judge says, for all practical purposes, it was rape, even though it's not per the.
Yes. But when he specifically said that he was found liable for rape, complete absolute lie.
You can hold him liable for that one. That's what I would say.
Well, if I understand correctly, rape was even one of the things that they were considering, but they didn't find him liable for rape. They found him liable for a sexual assault.
Yep.
I mean, so the fact that rape was included in there, but they said no, it wasn't. He didn't rape her. For then Stephanopoulos or whatever his name was, I think it was Stephanopoulos.
Yeah.
To say he was found liable for rape, they explicitly said he's not liable for that.
Right, but the judge in her what she said for practical purposes. It doesn't
really matter. It doesn't really matter what the judge says in that matter.
It really doesn't.
It's a nothing lawsuit.
Yes, it is. It really is. It's that's a crazy situation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. And then Georgia, the appeals court stripped the DA from Trump's case and all the other people with him on the election interference case. So, because she was having an affair or a relationship, maybe not an affair, relationship with a prosecutor that was on the same case. And so it caused all this issues. I don't know timing or anything like that, but it made things kind of hinky. And so she'll probably appeal that to the Supreme Court in Georgia, but
most likely.
Yeah, who knows what this is going to do though? The case is on hold for.
I've never really understood what the big deal about her sleeping with the prosecutor was. I mean, yes, maybe he became the prosecutor of that case because he was sleeping with her.
Right.
But how does that actually affect the case?
It was also something about money used on a trip and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. It was a little bit more.
How does that affect the case itself? I mean,
personally, I don't know. To me, the more sinister stuff is that she was in talks with the J6 committee and everything like that. And they were teaming up, trying to figure things, or at least that's how it seemed.
The apparent collusion between different aspects of the government that were colluding, that were seemingly colluding to put Trump in jail. I mean, that seems to be a lot more important than the fact that she slept with the guy that she named the prosecuting attorney.
Yeah, it's just sex. I don't care about sex. As long as it's two consenting adults, I really don't care. It's how about it? It's a.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Let's do a little bit of the show stuff. Here at the Mindless Meanderings, we are a value for value model, so please help us out. Donate to our show. You can donate any amount. You can send it through our PayPal if you go to our website, mindlessmeanderings.com, or just in the show notes and everything like that. You can click on that link there and you can help support us. Any dollar amount that you want will help. Every little bit helps. But the main thing you could really do is please just share knowledge about this podcast so that we can get our numbers up and everything like that. Because I like people to hear us and see if people actually like us and everything like that. And if you do like us or you have any comments, concerns, or anything like that, please email us. My name is Jesse at mindless, or my email is jesse at mindlessc.com. And Jamin's is Jamin at mindlessmeanderings.com. Jamin is Jamon. Oh, and Jamin. I meant to bring this up a long time ago. I realized what your name means in Spanish.
Yes.
Do you know?
Ever since I learned a little bit of Spanish, I have always said that mom and dad were very, very prophetic.
Seriously. Ham. It's hilarious.
Yep.
Haman.
And considering how large I am, they were very prophetic.
Yeah, I was watching this one show. It was talking about Spanish ham and everything like that, and then I looked at the name. It's Jamin. I'm like, going, Jamin, and then they showed another one, a different brand, and it was Jamin.
Yep.
I'm like, going, Haman. Because where else does your name come from? I really don't know.
Oh yeah. No.
Where did they
don't
find
know.
that?
The only other possibility that I can think of is that one of their thoughts was Jason, but they're like, nah, that's too common. Let's throw a different letter in instead of the S.
Yeah, that's where
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, that's probably where the pronunciation for it comes from, is Jamin, Jason.
Yep.
Yeah. But that just cracked me up. I've been meaning to say that for a long time. I just kept forgetting.
That's always how I tell. If people ask me how you pronounce my name, I always just say it's Jason with an M.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yep. But yeah, please help donate, spread the word about our podcast. We like to have fun, and if you help out and everything like that, that even makes the show better. So please help us out. Let's see here.
Let's get into science a little bit. What is this about cannabis that you found?
Oh, cannabis. Yeah. There's been quite a few studies about cannabis. And now that we can actually study it, because for the longest time we couldn't study it. And so because of that, we never really knew what it was. And so it was basically just myth and legend on what it could do and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So this article... it was National Geographic, 5 recent scientific findings that change what we know about cannabis. And basically what it is that, there's really 5 major things here. So the first one is pain relief. A lot of people say that pot is a pain relief, right? Mm-hmm. It's used for like cancer and everything like that, because it can reduce the pain and everything like that. The studies show that it helps with pain relief on the same pains that placebos can actually work on. So it's not like pain that you need the drug. This is a pain that placebos can actually help with. And so they're starting to see that pot is, but it doesn't help with actual pain that placebos can help with. It's still pain,
it's not going to replace. It's not going to replace oxycodone or something like
or
that,
or morphine or anything like that. Yeah.
So it's basically it's just your mental state. That your mental state says this is supposed to relieve the pain, so it does. Yep.
So it is completely a placebo effect. Well, or maybe not purely, but most of it is basically a placebo effect. They can't prove that it's not placebo is what it is.
Okay.
So there's that. Let's see here. Cannabis. The second thing is that they show that cannabis is highly addictive. You can become addicted to it. A lot of times that's what people said. Oh, you can't become addicted to pot. You can't. You can't. And then it also can cause delusions and paranoia. I think we've always known about the paranoia
I've
bit.
Witnessed that personally, yes.
Yeah. I think we've always known about the paranoia. That's always been in the mythos of pot and everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Delusions, That's never really been there, but yeah, it can cause delusions. It
No.
is a psychotropic drug, so it's not really
Yeah.
too much of a surprise there.
Hmm.
And then, do you remember the next thing is, do you remember like when Colorado was first starting and everything like that with their uh, legalizing pot and everything like that? There was a thing called
Yeah.
scromitine. Do you remember scromitine?
I've heard of it. I don't remember what it was though.
Basically, it's screaming and vomiting at the same time, and people would be
Oh, okay.
showing up. People would be showing up at the ER with this, and
Huh.
that was just the term that they had because they didn't understand what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
But apparently, the actual name of it is cannabinoid hypermesis syndrome, which is it causes nausea, vomiting, and severe abdominal pain. And apparently, this affects 2.75 million Americans a year.
Oh.
So that is quite a large number of the pot smoking community. If
Yeah, it is.
yeah, yeah. So, and a lot of that is due to just the high levels of THC in this today's pot and everything like that.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, let's see. Another thing they found out is that weed pot may increase heart attacks by 25%
That's not
and
surprising.
and strokes by 42%.
That's really not surprising.
Yeah, because apparently it changes the arterial blood flow in your
Hmm.
body, and so which can
Yeah.
cause.
Well, I mean, that's yeah. It has to affect the blood flow because I mean that's blood flow basically controls everything.
Yep,
So
completely.
if you're taking something that's going to impair anything, it's going to affect the blood flow.
Yep, yep. And then the last one is that apparently there's this mythos that there are two strains of weed. Okay, two types of weed: indica, and sativa. So the
Okay.
indica, they say that indica helps you relax and can bring sleep on, basically help you fall asleep and everything like that. And then sativa helps you be creative, is what they say. But the truth is there's little to no difference genetically or chemically between the two.
Yeah.
There are slight differences, but they're basically the same. Yeah.
Well, I mean that makes sense considering that most artistic people that I know have always been kind of chill and relaxed and zoned out when they're not doing art, when they're not doing something artistic.
Yeah, and the part of the delusions and everything like that, the
Yep.
psychotropic nature of it,
Yep.
can
Yep.
actually help create art and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
makes you see things in different ways. So I mean, it
yep.
does that obviously is going to play into an artistic mode for some people.
Oh yeah. So I found that a bit interesting. The whole weed thing, it's fascinating to me. I don't smoke or anything like that, never have.
Yeah.
But I've always been because it's one of those things where it's like we don't know anything about it, and everybody thinks
Hmm.
that we do, but these are just potheads that you're trying to get information from. Which is
Yeah.
never nothing against potheads; they're great people, but it's just
Yeah.
what they know is like I know that in some areas pot is considered like an appetite suppressant, and then some
Hmm.
it's known as appetite inducer. So
Yeah.
it's like different countries have different things that pot supposedly does to you, but it just seems
Yeah.
to be more of a placebo effect on so many different
Well,
ends.
I mean, it's funny. I was talking to one person, and just now that you said that, I can kind of say, well, it actually does both.
Uh huh.
It's an appetite suppressor and an appetite enhancer. He never wanted big meals, but he had to snack all the frickin' time.
Who was this?
The guy that I knew out in Manhattan, one of the guys that I lived with for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he would never sit down to an actual meal. He just from time he'd smoke pot and then he'd just start snacking. and then he'd smoke. I mean, he was always smoking pot, so that may
Right.
be why he never sat down for a big meal, because he was small with snacking. But I mean, even on days where he didn't smoke pot, he never had a large appetite.
Huh. Okay. That is
But he
weird.
was all. But when he was smoking pot, he was always just snacking on little things.
So like, while not smoking, it suppresses appetite, but while smoking, it induced his appetite. Is that kind of
Yeah,
what you're
it
saying?
makes it made him get the munchies,
Uh
and
huh.
so he would always snack on little things. But
Right.
then when he wasn't smoking, he wouldn't get the munchies, but he also never had a big appetite. He would always just eat small little tiny meals.
Interesting. That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Now,
Yeah, no, it's a
I don't
weird
know if
thing.
that's just him personally, but as any drug, it affects different people in different ways. So,
Uh huh.
you know. Yeah, that was just something that I noticed with him, and just now I'm like, huh, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. It really does. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's go.
Talking about drugs, what's this about drinking alcohol?
Yeah, apparently, if you have a nut allergy, drinking alcohol can make a nut allergy deadlier, is what this study shows. So basically, if you're like eating peanuts while drinking beer, if you have a slight nut allergy, it can actually increase the nut allergy to where
So,
might cause anaphylaxis.
oh wow,
Yeah, yeah. So, uh huh.
do they know why alcohol has that effect, and is it just some alcohols, or is it any alcohol in general?
It's just generally any alcohol is
Okay.
how it is. Let's see here. Yeah, and then also this really goes into like those beers that actually have nuts in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was went over to Windsor, Canada, one day with a friend of mine, and we went to a brewery, and it had a peanut one, and I go, "Oh, okay, I have that." Holy hell, my throat just the first sip I could feel my throat slowly closing, and I'm like, and that was just one little sip. I go, "Here, have a beer." My friend drinks it. I was like, "No, no, it's But then,
Wait,
to
do you
me,
have a nut allergy?
a very slight one. A very slight one.
Okay.
I
Okay.
eat peanut butter and all this, and eat peanuts. I eat
Yeah.
peanut M and M's and whatnot. It's just very slight. I just get it
Okay.
itching and everything like that. It's just these highly purified or pureed nuts and everything like
Yeah.
that. It's like one time I went to we were at this kid thing up in Detroit, and they had coffee there, and so I got a coffee. I got a latte. They only
Hmm.
use nut milk or nut slurries, as I like to call
Oh
them.
God.
Uh, and
Yeah.
and I drink it, and all of a sudden my throat just starts closing up. I can eat every
Hmm.
nut on the planet, but it's just this highly purified slurries and whatnot
Yeah.
that I think maybe get into my skin faster or something like that. And
Could
so
be.
it gets into the bloodstream faster, and so it's causing issues. But yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of crazy.
Or it could be maybe it's because in order to thicken them a little bit, they have to put more nut powder in, so there's a lot more nuts in it than just eating a peanut butter or something like that.
Uh,
Who knows?
maybe so. I doubt that, but I don't know why or anything like that. It's funny
That's
because
the
I
only
can eat
thing I
peanut
could
butter.
think of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. I can eat peanut butter and everything like that, no problem. It's just
You know.
these nut slurries or these peanut or walnut. Well, actually, not. I don't know what nuts exactly. I'm sure there's some that I'm not allergic to, but it's like I just stay away from from anything.
Makes
Uh,
sense. Makes sense.
yeah,
It's
I
like
think.
it's like the older brother with strawberries.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yep.
I think pecans might be fine, but I don't know. Or pecans, however you want to pronounce that word.
I've always pronounced it pecans.
Well, I've lived too many places around the United States,
Yeah.
so and every
Yeah.
place says it differently. So I don't know what I'm supposed to say here in Texas.
Yeah, I've always, I the only way that I ever eat pecans is pecan pie,
Right.
and I have never anywhere heard it pronounced pecan pie.
I have. I've heard
Have
it
you?
called pecan. Yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
have. So it's a
Okay.
pecan, uh, pecan. Yeah, there's so many different ways. It's just a different
Yep.
stress and a different. Yeah, it's all craziness on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was crazy too. So it kind of
Yep.
explains though why I had such a issue in Canada on that one day, fateful day, that I had to get a different beer.
Yep.
That's all it was. I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. Like I just go, yep, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And then I move on
Yep.
with my life.
Yep. Yeah, all these experiments and these tests and stuff that we're talking about, that brings to mind. There's a company that is trying to introduce AI into doing scientific experiments,
Uh-huh.
rather than what they basically want to replace the lab tech almost.
Okay.
Right now, it's almost impossible to not use lab techs when you're doing testing and stuff like that. And I mean,
Right.
we're talking just the simple stuff like taking 2 milliliters of this and putting it into another container, doing this thousands of times just to run one test.
Uh-huh.
Well, you've never been able to do that with the computers, because any little change that was needed, they'd have to go in and write an entirely new programming code for it,
Oh, okay.
for the machines.
Right.
And so this guy's like, well, why don't we just try to do this with the AI? And so they putting sensors and stuff on it so that it can see if something is crystallized or not, because that was something that the lab tech was always watching for, which the machine would never be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they've basically, if it all works out, I don't think they've got the finished product out yet, but if it all works out, then you won't have to have the lab tech spending 10 hours just moving one little thing from one tube to another. Instead, you'll be able to have the AI do it in like 5 minutes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that if it works out, that should improve the testing capabilities of almost every lab immensely. It'll also weed out a lot of potential cross contamination,
Right.
because the AI with their scanners can identify a much smaller amount of contamination than the human eye can figure out. So it should make it so that the testing is a lot more reliable as well.
Yeah, no, to me, AI is a great tool, and it can really help. If you know how to use it, it can really make your life easier, and so then you can focus on other more important things. So I really think if we can get it just right, it could really lead to an explosion of knowledge for humanity.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating what AI can do.
Yep. And another aspect of AI is that, unlike the human brain, which, we tend to hyper focus on something, if the AI has multiple sources of information, it will very quickly combine all of those sources of information to find something new. Whereas with us, we hyper focus on one thing and then we hyper focus on something else, but our mind doesn't always necessarily put the two together, even though the two would work very well together.
Yep. Yeah,
so
no, it's pretty cool.
That's another, yeah.
Yeah, and another cool thing is that it looks like scientists are thinking that we're getting getting really close to actually having like a space elevator. So
that'd be sweet.
Yeah. The whole trick has been to come up with something that a material that's like 50 times stronger than steel. Because you need that kind of strength to actually have a space elevator.
Right.
So they think they've come up with it. It's just carbon nanotubes or graphene nanotubes. And they figure that can actually work out. So, and they're thinking that it could become a reality in just a few years. Like an actual space elevator. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Oh, absolutely. Just imagine how much that would change the world.
Yeah, it would completely change the world. We could
Yeah,
get to
I mean,
space for cheap. We could get anything we want up into the atmosphere for cheap.
yeah,
Because
and the other huge benefit for that, and at first it'll only be for people with money,
right,
but because you don't have to physically escape Earth's gravity,
huh.
you don't have to be 100% physically fit in order to go into space with a space elevator.
Yep, that's true. That is true. I never actually thought about that, but yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So that would open up space to a lot more scientific minds that
Yep.
can go up there now.
Mm-hmm.
There'd be a lot more. I mean, plus, eventually, what I've always thought is that if we want to get into space, and if we want to become a spacefaring world, the first thing we need to do is be able to build ships in space.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Completely. You really have to. Otherwise, because how else would you build interstellar ships or anything like that? It's just
Yeah,
not
like
a feasibility.
when you're building for escaping Earth's gravity, you can't possibly be considering interstellar travel at the same time. It's just not possible.
Well, really, even interplanetary. If you want like a decent
Yeah,
ship beyond just
yeah,
survival, you,
yeah,
it's like you need massive ships that rotate and everything like that to get gravity and things like that.
yeah.
And if you
Plus,
want to
not
do it
plus not to
right,
mention plus not to mention our rocket technology would have to improve at least by 5 times
yep.
so you'd have enough power just to lift them up into space.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whereas if we lift it up piece by piece through an elevator, there ain't no limit to where we can go anymore.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
It would be, absolutely,
But
yeah.
yeah, just a few years. That's just craziness. So it's
That
I thought
is
that
that
was
is Yeah, I knew there was potential there. I knew that the problem that we were facing was the strength of the cable to get up there. We've pretty much figured out everything else already,
yep, yep.
but I didn't think I'd see it in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so either. But this article says that it's actually possible. So that would be pretty sweet. That would be freaking
Yeah, that
awesome. I
that
would
would
love it.
be
Yeah, living in the future,
uh,
Damon. Living in the future.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, if only we can get flying cars.
Uh, see, I just don't know if that's. It sounds good and everything like that, but
Well,
just
I'm just thinking from my childhood. That's what the future was flying
well, there is
cars.
that. There is that. It's just. Yeah, I just don't trust people on that one. Cars
No,
are bad
no.
enough. Yeah, it's like, and cars can stop quickly. Planes and flying
Yeah.
cars cannot stop quickly. It's just
No,
not.
no, they cannot. No.
Yeah, no, just the amount of energy required to actually keep it in the air and
Yep.
going forward. That's a lot
Yeah.
of energy. That's
Oh, yeah, yeah. And it would take 10 times more energy to stop quickly.
yeah, yeah, yep. So, what's this spacecraft attempts closest ever approach to the sun?
Yeah, they launched a satellite a long time ago
Uh huh.
to go to the sun, and it's gonna go like within the first outer layers of the sun.
Oh, cool.
Suppose that they're hoping that it'll survive through.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be about 7 or 8 days now from before they'll hear back from it, is from what the article I read said. Um, so they've actually lost communication with it now because it's entered into the range of where the
Right.
radiation is just way too strong.
Uh huh.
But yeah, so they're hoping that with that they can kind of figure out how the sun works
Oh yeah.
and maybe be able to utilize that in nuclear fusion technology. So
That'd be nice. That'd
yeah,
be nice.
yeah,
Yeah, fusion is the
absolutely.
way to go if you can do it.
It really is. Yeah. I
That's
mean,
really cool.
from what some people have said, one nuclear fusion plant could almost power half of the U.S.
Right, 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 right.
with the amount of energy that it can put out. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
well, considering that, can saw an article not too long ago talking about energy. They're wanting to put up some more windmills here in Kansas.
Uh-huh.
to give Missouri a little bit of a boost of electricity.
Oh, Jesus.
At least this time it's only going to Missouri instead of the last one that they did. They were they were sending the electricity all the way to the East Coast,
Holy
but
balls.
from windmills here in Kansas.
Jesus. Can you produce
And
enough
they
to
actually
actually...
they built it, and in the East Coast they claim that it's green energy,
Right.
but every power plant in between the farm here in Kansas and the East Coast has to input more energy to make up for what's been lost.
Well, right. Yeah.
By the time it gets there, maybe 1/1000th of the energy is actually from the windmills here in Kansas.
Yeah, because there's loss in transmission, so it's
Yeah,
like...
yeah.
That's crazy.
But it's green energy over
Yeah,
on the
it's
East
green
Coast.
energy. Yeah.
Even though
Well,
all the way along, coal plants and stuff like that are giving it more power.
let's just go nuclear until we figure out fusion. Come on, let's do it.
Absolutely, yes.
Get those baby nukes going, and then
We
they can...
need to. I mean, energy would be so much cheaper if we went nuclear.
Yeah,
If we, I mean, a coal power plant is way more expensive than a nuclear power plant would ever be.
Yep.
Wind power plants are even more expensive. Solar power plants are, I mean, I don't know don't know for sure, but I know solar energy is expensive.
Right, and like wind and solar, they do not have a long shelf life.
No, they don't.
Those facilities don't last very long.
Yeah.
A nuke can last a lot longer, at least twice as long. I would figure, if not more.
A lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
All you need is a little bit of fuel, and I mean those power plants they'll run for 50 to 100 years.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
At minimum.
Yeah, I don't know exact science on that one, but yeah, it's quite a lot longer than just because wind turbines they get rusted and everything like that. It's pretty bad. So it's
well, not only that, but they also, you know, if you build them in the oceans, they also kill the whales.
And they kill birds like nobody's business.
Yeah,
they really do. And then apparently the noise.
Yeah. The noise, yeah.
Yeah, it can cause like you to go insane and things like that. Cows hate wind turbines. They hate them.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they you know there's been a lot of whale carcasses off of the coasts of areas that have windmills out in the ocean now.
Yep.
And there was some people that went out there to figure out just what was going on. And, you know, up above the ocean, they don't hear anything.
Right.
So they lowered some mics down into the water, and oh my God.
Wow.
The vibrations that those windmills put out was so insane. It's literally killing all of the whales in that area.
Well, and partly any other mammal that uses sonar technology. That's yeah. Wow. That is not cool at all.
Yeah, no.
Well, let's end this on a happy note. So apparently, Penn State played SMU. What is SMU? I don't even know what is that. Southern Missouri. What is SMU? What school is that?
Don't.
I know that it's a college playoff and it says Penn State, but I don't know exactly what SMU is.
Southern Methodist University. It's
okay, Southern Methodist University,
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. Oh, okay. Go SMU. I think they lost.
That's what pulls up when I typed in SMU.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yep.
Maybe there's probably more than one. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, SMU. So at the football game, college playoff, right? Penn State put the SMU band as high up at the back of the stadium as they possibly can. If you look at the picture, it is just hilarious. It's just a small little group of a band that probably can't even be heard on the field. It's like, good one, Penn State.
Yeah.
It's like way up there. It is truly hilarious. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for joining us for episode number 17 of the Mindless Meandering podcast. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa, too. So whatever you do, celebrate, have fun with that, and enjoy the new year. We will see you on the 31st, actually. We will be coming to you probably on the 31st or the 1st. One of those days, I can't remember. Anyways, I'm Jesse Freeze.
And I'm Jamin Freeze.
And you guys have a great day.